So I would like to introduce our MC for the day, Miss Tiffany Kenny from WPBF Channel 25. Tiffany's no stranger to Palm Beach County. The Emmy Award-winning journalist is the only local evening anchor born and raised in our area. Her parents, sister, and nieces live in West Palm Beach. Tiffany's reporting talents have earned her 5 regional Emmy Awards for investigative and in-depth reporting. She has covered many hurricanes in South Florida, including some of the worst to hit Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. She was on the set for the 17 hours straight, anchoring WPBF's 25 coverage of Hurricane Francis, the 3rd major storm of the busy 2004 hurricane season. I'm glad we've recovered well since then. She's also covered the Olympics, presidents, and other major newsmakers, but her favorite stories remain those of people who have faced adversity and won. I think our community, Port St. Lucie in specific, as a community that faced adversity through the economic challenges and has come back strong. So we're one of those cases, I believe. Tiffany anchored the newscast that awarded the 2013 Florida Associated Press Best Newscast. In 2013, Jupiter Magazine named Tiffany as one of the area's top 25 impact players. She also was honored as a distinguished alumni by the Palm Beach County Education Foundation. Would you give me a round of applause to welcome Tiffany Kenny?
Thank you, Chris. I don't know if I've recovered from Francis, though. It's like post-traumatic stress when we're heading into hurricane season, right? It's less than 2 weeks away, and I just think, gosh, were y'all here? Was everyone here for Francis and Jean and Wilma? So let's hope we have a very quiet season. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. This is my first time at the Treasure Coast Business Summit, and I feel like I finally get a chance to be here because my colleagues have been here before me, and I've never had the opportunity, and they always come back saying such wonderful things. Before I introduce to you our first speaker, I want to find out, is anybody on Twitter in here? Raise your hand, okay, because I started a hashtag. I asked Chris, I'm like, okay, what are we going to hashtag today? We're hashtagging TCBS. So if you take any photos today, and I'm going to start by taking and tweeting out this photo this morning. Everybody looks so fresh and bright-eyed, so everybody smile, because we're going to take a photo here. Even wave, you can wave too. Woo! All right, I'm going to tweet that, and if you guys get any photos today, tweet them to me or hashtag TCBS, and we'll all be able to see our photos together. I've already taken one of the coffee bar. Did you guys see the coffee bar in there? How cool was that? So that's been tweeted out. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the St. Lucie County Administrator, Howard Tipton. Mr. Tipton became the county administrator in November of 2014. He has now served a total of 34 years in 4 different Florida counties. His previous assignments have included Deputy County Administrator for Orange County, President COO for a golf course development company, Chief Administrative Officer for the Orange County Clerk of Courts, and most recently, County Manager for Brevard County. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree from James Madison University. My niece is there right now, by the way, so go JMU. A Master's of Public Administration from the University of Central Florida, and completed the program for senior executives in state and local government at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Please welcome Mr. Howard Tipton.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is when you talk about those hurricanes, it does bring back a little bit of stress. But one of the things that we have to remind ourselves, and we do live in Florida, so you got to be ready for extreme weather. We saw that this week. So you see those tornado warnings coming across the stream, shelter in place, or get where it is safe. So. All right, well, I'm going to just be brief in my comments this morning because I see I'm sharing the stage with a lot of folks who are going to be sharing a lot of great information with you. I appreciate Chris's prayer this morning. And, one of the things that is prayed for the most, you think about, discernment and wisdom and everything, but patience is one of the things that's prayed for the most. And usually the prayer goes like this, God, grant me patience, and I need it now, right? And so that's what we usually hear. And we feel like that with economic development. We want to see it and we want to see it now. So there's not a lot of patience when we talk about our economy and developing it. And I'm with you. I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to growing businesses and building the things for tomorrow that we're going to need. So it's an exciting time. And so I start with the message that the state of the county is strong, and it's getting stronger. And that's good news, because we haven't been able to say that always. And so we take these good days and these good years and we build on that. So the state of our economy is good and getting stronger. So how do we do that? How do we do our part on behalf of the county government, on behalf of our municipalities? How do we do our part to help facilitate a strong and healthy environment? On the county side, it starts with some of the programs that we provide. And one of them is a program that we're developing called St. Lucie Works. And St. Lucie Works is an initiative that has many branches to it. And some of them are, you know, if you've got a company that is, say, manufacturing in our area, like Maverick Boats, we'll come out and do a video of you. We'll post it on our website. We've got our own television production studio. And we'll put it out on YouTube, and you can take it with you. And when you go to shows like this, you can have it showing. We're pleased to try and highlight some of the businesses that we have in our community, and that's just one way that we try to do it. Another way that we're doing it is through trying to streamline our business permitting processes. So we've created a number of things, but one of the most important is a position called Business Navigator. Our Business Navigator is Peter Jones. Peter is here this morning, and his job is to make sure that the businesses who are looking to grow in our community have every reason to succeed, and that our government and our regulations are not going to be an impediment to your growth. And that's an important thing, because a lot of people have had history where they come in and they apply for something and they just can't get over those hurdles. That's not so, and it's not so with the city of Port St. Lucie or Fort Pierce either. I think all of us are working together to create a better business environment so that you can grow. And so these Business Navigator positions, this kind of a philosophy and approach is important for us as we grow and as we go forward. So a couple of things related to St. Lucie Works. First of all, it starts with our leadership at the top. And so that's our Board of County Commissioners. And I tell you, I've been in business now for 34 years, and I've got the best board I've ever worked with. And so I am just pleased to have that support and that freedom to go out and explore how can we get better, how can we do things smarter, cheaper, and faster. And it's been a lot of fun, and so we're very blessed to have them. We also have great community partners. I mentioned both cities. We have great elected officials across the board, through our city officials, through our constitutional officers, through our state officials. We've got great support, including our incoming Senate President, Senator Joe Negron. We are well positioned for those policy changes and initiatives that we need to see going forward. So that part's very good, because those stars, I will tell you, those stars do not always align, and they're aligned right now. We have a suite of incentives, and so if you're in business and you're thinking about expanding, all of our cities, including the county, have incentives for your consideration. You have to meet certain thresholds. They are performance-based, so you get the incentives after you perform, after you grow the jobs. It's all jobs-focused, capital investment-focused. But if you're thinking about expanding, any of us would like to talk to you about how we can help you make that happen. We do it with partners, and you're going to hear from our property appraiser this morning. You're going to hear from our school superintendent. We have a number of partners that we work with. Nobody works in a vacuum. Everything is done with collaboration, and again, it's working well. Some of the things that we're playing with right now, we have an airport. Didn't know if you knew that. We have a 4,000-acre airport in the north part of the county. And it's the largest general aviation airport in the state of Florida. It employs over 1,300 people. The average salary up there is about $45,000, and it's a $50 million payroll. It's a big economic engine for our community, and we're looking to expand it in a couple of different ways. First of all, we've renamed it. So we're going through a rebranding process. That's now the Treasure Coast International Airport and Business Park. We're getting ready to build a new 30,000 square foot hangar. A lot of the activity out there is maintenance and overhaul. It's kind of repairing and renewing jets and planes. And so that's really our business up there right now. We're looking at passenger traffic, that will come, but the jobs aren't as big with passenger traffic. Where you get the job growth is through the maintenance and overhaul. And so that's going to be our focus. So a new hangar coming up with great partnership from the state, Representative Larry Lee, Representative Gail Harrell, Senator Joe Negron, as I mentioned, that was a big partnership. We've got a customs terminal up there as well. So when you come in, you can actually clear customs. Anybody ever hear of Rush Limbaugh? We're his favorite place to clear customs as he comes back into the United States. So we have people coming all day long. 160,000 air operations last year. We're pretty much saturated, and looking forward to continuing to grow. And the customs facility is important because we have a port as well, the port of Fort Pierce. And so as we have international traffic coming in through there, you want to make sure you have a customs facility. Do we have any Mets fans out there? Anybody enjoy spring training? We're looking at extending that relationship with the New York Mets, making some pretty significant enhancements to Tradition Field, and hopefully enjoying their presence and that connection to our largest tourism market, the greater New York area, for another 25 years. So we're excited about that. I see a lot of younger folks in here today, and I think that that's great. One of the things that we think about when we're looking at economic development, we try to focus on the jobs charts, right? And we're looking at unemployment in particular. And one of the areas that is stubbornly difficult in the unemployment sector is for youth, and trying to get them some job experience. And so I'm pleased to say that the county this year stepped up, and in partnership with a number of different entities, including our school board and Career Source, helping to fund 120 summertime positions this year in 15 different agencies. There's no cost to the employers. It's completely free labor to them. It's 2 weeks of training for the youth and then 5 weeks of paid work. And we're all full. We actually have a waiting list of 20, and we're looking to do it again next year. So we're committed to not only finding jobs for those who have gone through and have that technical and education background ready to contribute, but also making sure that our youth have a chance to get the job experience so that you can start to figure out what you want to do when you grow up. Because I will tell you, I'm 57 years old, and I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So some of the things that we also contribute with, we're going to hear from the Economic Development Commission this morning, and the EDC is an important factor in helping us drive our economic development around the community, for the cities, for the county, for everybody. The county is the largest single contributor to the EDC at over $250,000. That's a critical investment that we need to make every year so that they can continue to market us not only around the state, around the country, but internationally as well. We mentioned the St. Lucie Works team. We've expanded wastewater treatment plants. We're working on Midway. Anybody ever drive on Midway Road? That's not fun right now, but it will be great when it's done. That's a $23 million road enhancement. We had a 2015 beach renourishment. One of the keys to tourism is making sure that you have your beaches in place, and there's always a struggle against the tide, and we had a very successful, actually award-winning beach renourishment last year in Fort Pierce, and there's going to be one on the South Beach coming up in the near future. That's important. We've expanded our bus routes so that we now have evening and Saturday service on selected routes. So one of the things that we know is as we grow our economy, people need to be able to get to work. That's an important thing. And so one of the things that the county has responsibility for is funding the transit system. And so expanding those hours is one of our first steps to really making sure that we have the availability of our workforce to get to the jobs that we're creating. I mentioned the Mets. We also, in support of the Research Coast, that's still here. Torrey Pines still going strong, and we actually have a county research park, the Treasure Coast Research Park as well, and getting ready to kick off a kind of a research kitchen there, actually, where tying in with the agriculture, tying in with the farmers. It's trying to get the food from the field to the kitchen to the marketplace. And so it's a big investment for us. We've got a $1 million grant from the federal government, so we're excited to start construction on that. And then I mentioned the Port of Fort Pierce. You're seeing a lot of mega yachts coming in. You'll start to see a lot more of that in our future, and I think you'll start to see actually the port become a very viable and important part of our economy as we go forward. One of the things that you need to understand as we hear our speakers this morning and you start to think about our economy is we build stuff for today, but it's also built for tomorrow. In 25 years, our community is going to grow by 160,000 people. So we're going to basically add another Port St. Lucie to our community in 25 years. 25 years sounds like a long time. Not that long, trust me. And so we've got to get ready for that. And so part of what we do is, from a municipal perspective, is we provide those parks and green space and roads and sidewalks and sewers and all of that kind of stuff. It's important. But from a business perspective, we're making sure that our institutions, our educational institutions, we've got the preparations going on, so making sure that we're turning out graduates who are ready for the jobs, not just for today, but 25 years from now. So it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of coordination to make sure that what we're building today is going to be sustainable and successful going forward 25 years from now as we welcome those 160,000 new residents. So a lot of responsibilities out there, a lot of opportunity for everybody. And so it's an exciting time to be in St. Lucie County. It's an exciting time to be in Port St. Lucie. I welcome you here this morning and have a great summit.
Our next speaker is Pete Tesch, the president of the Economic Development Council of St. Lucie County. Tesch was formerly the president of Peterson Hills Partners, an economic development consultation and site selection company to serve businesses, communities, and not-for-profits. Tesch was the former president and CEO of Ocala-Marion County Economic Development Corporation and responsible for assisting more than 100 new and expanding businesses, which created more than 9,000 jobs with an economic impact of more than $437 million. Please welcome Mr. Pete Tesch.
Oh, I'm so excited. Good morning, everyone. I'm Pete Tesch, EDC. Just want to let you know I'm so excited to be in front of you, but I'm even more excited to meet Tiffany. I'm so excited. We're going to get a picture later. Oh, great. Excellent. So happy Friday to you all. And I would like to thank Chris Morehart and David Bernstein and the entire Ferris group for putting on this excellent event. So Dave, Chris, round of applause, please, for him. I have 20 minutes, and thank God that Howard gave my presentation, so I have some nice pictures. We'll kind of breeze through this really quickly. But in all seriousness, I do want to present some economic information to you that you as business leaders, those of you that are in the trenches every day, trying to make a profit, keep your business alive, employ people, some of this economic, demographic, and business data will be good business intelligence for you to go forward. So I would like to thank you personally for your investment, for your hard work, and the courage that you have every day to go in and run your business, because we have some great speakers here and some great leaders, but none of this happens without you. So a round of applause for your great efforts. So with the trials of technology, we'll see if this works. It's great. So Kevin, you're the man. So very quickly, we're going to talk about the Economic Development Partnership that Howard articulated. Very briefly about a strategic plan, the economic snapshot of St. Lucie County and the Treasure Coast, and then reinforcing some of the business and industry trends that we want to watch. As Howard mentioned, economic development, job creation, and promoting human talent doesn't happen on its own. Partnerships are very powerful. And we're delighted as the Economic Development Council to work with these great public and private sector partners. A little bit about the EDC. We are a public-private partnership. We're a 501c6, and we're dedicated to helping new business and expanding business grow here in St. Lucie County and the Treasure Coast. So the idea is to assist in job creation and to make this a more vibrant economy and making this, most important, a great place for our families and residents to live. So you'll see this theme as we go through the economic outlook and how it impacts our planning process. Last year, when I was honored to give this presentation, we were in the process of developing a new strategic plan. And as Howard mentioned, and you'll also hear from Superintendent Wayne Gent and our property appraiser Ken Pruitt and others, there's strategic themes that are very important for the development of an economy. So having product, making sure that we have a great business image, infrastructure, growth leadership, the business climate. You know, is this a competitive place to do business? Business retention, expansion, and attraction. How do we make sure that we create high-wage, high-skilled jobs for our families? And then also on tourism. You know, do we have the proper infrastructure to promote this great area in the state of Florida? So these are strategic themes. These are key elements of a plan, and you'll see how that works as we go forward. One thing it's very important to note that the state of Florida is one of the state in the union's fastest growing job creators. We're now second in the nation. We've had a 3.5% job growth in 2015, over 367,000 new residents. And part of this economic boom has become because of diversification. And it's been because of a concerted effort on the state and local leadership in economic and business development to create more jobs in some high-wage, high-skilled industries, which includes manufacturing, aviation, aerospace, life sciences, and professional and business services. So while Florida is still dependent on real estate, construction, and agriculture, the economic fabric, the basis of our economy from a statewide level has been greatly expanded and enhanced. Just like my PowerPoint presentation. We getting an update here, Kevin? So, the important thing to remember here is that from an economic perspective, there's a lot of opportunity for our community with regard to being located. If Florida was a sovereign nation and its own economy, the 16th largest economy in the world. You know, how do we take advantage of that, being positioned in the mega region of South Florida and the wonderful competitive advantages that we have, which we'll look at later. So, Howard mentioned about the city of Port St. Lucie. This is so critical and going forward. Did you know that the city is the 9th largest city in the state of Florida? Forbes has consistently over the last couple of years put the city in in the top 100 best places for business and careers. Interestingly, Smart Assets voted the city of Port St. Lucie as the #1 city for millennials to buy homes. So, you know, when we talk about the American dream, you know, at least as a baby boomer, Howard, you know this, right? That age category. Having a house is a key to our businesses, our careers, and our home life. So to me, that's a fundamental economic opportunity. And also 24/7 Wall Street voted the city of Port St. Lucie as America's 50 best cities to live in. So we've got the bones, we got the legs, we have the infrastructure to support more economic growth. So my proposition to you all is that successful communities with robust economies have a game plan. This stuff doesn't happen by accident. This is a important influence between the public and private sectors. So considering where we were in the great economic recession, to me, this is very important. So, as I mentioned, what are the fundamentals of our economy? So some building blocks. Howard mentioned about our great population growth. St. Lucie County has over 287,000 people. Our median age is about 43, which is about the state average. Non-agricultural employment in our workforce is about 69,000. Our annual wages, the average earnings per worker, is 37,700, and our unemployment rate now is 5.2%. We're going to have some more accurate, updated information from Mr. Pruitt and also others, but I want to point to you about the single-family home sales. In March of 2016, the average or the median sale was 179,000, and there's been 4.1 months where we've had, that's the available inventory. So this has been dramatic over the last few years. I point this out because in 2009, the city of Port St. Lucie had the highest level of foreclosure rates in the nation. Can you believe that? So to me, this is almost an economic miracle that has not really been displayed. So top foreclosures, I mean, that could have been potentially an economic catastrophe, which it was, but how do you adapt and get above that? So now, having one of the hottest real estate markets in the nation and the most affordable housing probably in the state of Florida, this is a very good sign for things to come. I'll show you some other things that we need to work on so we don't repeat the sins of the past, but this is a very important economic element. Ken Pruitt's going to talk about taxable values. The good thing is that's going up. Building permits and certificates of occupancy have been very pronounced, both on the county level and with our municipalities. So the flow of money, the economic impact that it's causing to our community is there. Just want to remind you again about the unemployment rate. You can see that it's dropped dramatically since 2012. In 2011, St. Lucie County was the third highest unemployment rate in the state. And in that year, in 2009, we had 16% unemployment. Again, that could be on the verge of economic catastrophe. So now at 5.2%, if you translate that and put a human face on it, think of the thousands of people that now are gainfully employed, that are providing for their families and engaging in our local commerce. Again, to me, and I know I'm the economic development cheerleader for the community, this is something not short of a miracle. So how do we capitalize on it? Part of the job growth has been very critical in very key industry sectors: health services, leisure and hospitality, government, and professional business services. And this has been over the last 12 months. So, kind of taking the big picture and looking at stepping abroad, this is the Tesch economic key indicators. You won't find this in any academic institution, but at least these are the ones that I think are very important. Looking at development, employment, income, and taxes and revenue, all these indicators are up. Building permits, home sales, commercial and industrial real estate starting to make an uptick. Looking at employment, median household income, the employment rate, and the average earnings per worker. We have some work there, and I'll show that to you later. And then also on taxes and revenue. As Howard mentioned earlier, making sure that we have sufficient revenues to take care of all the great services that we need to provide: infrastructure, transportation, education, healthcare. That's all related to what occurs on the assessed value of property, gross taxable sales, the gross real county product, or GDP, and also tourism. This again, helps with the flow of money. Okay, so we have some bright spots, but to make sure that we don't repeat the sins of the past, the Economic Development Council commissioned a study to look at a goal-setting study. And while we have great economic fundamentals to go build upon, one thing that we have, which is our Achilles heel, is an absence of high-wage, high-skilled jobs in target industries, in industries that are what we consider primary. So this would be manufacturing, transportation, wholesale trade. This could be also in professional and business services, as well as other industries that provide the jobs that provide flow of money. So part of our strategic plan will have a concerted effort on making sure that we have quality jobs for now and in the future. And as Howard mentioned, making sure that we have an investment and we're all working together to make sure that goal is provided. That's where we need to go. We need to raise that average earnings per worker. This study and many other presentations are on our website, which I'll give you the URL a little bit later. Another area which we'll go back to on economic research includes what we can do to create more jobs in the soft or white collar area. So looking at call center, back office operations, and medically related industry sector opportunities. We just finished this last study a few months ago, which outlines some areas where we might be able to create jobs. One interesting phenomenon that could relate to this is a concept called reshoring or nearshoring, in that there is a trend to bring jobs back from overseas into the United States in these various industry sectors. So software development, IT, manufacturing, what can we do both on a national, state, and local level to generate that economic opportunity, not in some foreign country, but right here? We make the economic development case that because of our workforce and because of our competitive advantage, that could be done. So I think this is a trend that is very important for future growth, and I'll show an example of that later. Chris, how am I in time?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. I've got some trends to share with you. I'm going to do this in 5 minutes. Last thing I want to do is get the hook. I used to teach economics, microeconomics, and I won't name the university, but I taught on Saturday, 8 hours. We'd start at 8 a.m. and go to 5 p.m. At first I was really nervous because, there was like physical transformation that people would go through. Their heads would stop nodding and their eyes would close, and I used to get really scared. But I called that the Migos, my eyes glaze over. So I know exactly when I need to stop. But 8 hours of microeconomics, this is nothing. So a couple of trends to watch. These are the things that I think are going to impact our economy in the short term and the long term. Teleperformance, one of our local call center and back office operations is expanding. We are very hopeful that the former Liberty Medical Building that will be purchased from the city of Port St. Lucie will be the new home of Teleperformance. This 122,000 square foot facility will house probably 1,200 to 1,300 people. So that is definitely a good sign for job creation. Another economic blow that we had to our community was the vacancy of the QVC facility. We're happy to report that we have McKesson Business Processing Services here in our community. McKesson is a Fortune 500 company that is going to occupy that building with lots of jobs in back office operations and medically related fields. Howard talked about the airport. The goal of the EDC, working with the county and our partners, is to market this. The aviation sector is a great opportunity to grow jobs because Florida has such a concentration and cluster. So we think this is a tremendous engine for economic opportunity. Howard mentioned about St. Lucie Works. One thing that we're noticing is that manufacturing is making a comeback in our community. Very small portion of our workforce, only about 3–4%. However, the people that work in that industry, their average earnings per worker is much higher than the $36,000. It's in the $45,000 to $50,000. Great opportunity for job growth. Manufacturing is a way to create the necessary jobs for our community. So much so that with these partners, we are now forming the Treasure Coast Manufacturers Association. There's great interest in our local manufacturers and regionally to get together and see what we can do to help create more jobs. Howard mentioned about the port. This is a critical factor from an economic development perspective in that in South Florida, where Fort Lauderdale is the epicenter of the yacht capital of the world, they're running out of space. It's becoming very expensive to grow the businesses there. We're finding a lot of interest in the city of Fort Pierce. One issue that is really going to impact how we go forward is our major job corridor, and that's Tradition Commerce Park. We have 900 acres of pristine, ready-to-go industrial and commercial space. 900 acres. There's nothing like this, not only in Florida, but on the entire eastern seaboard. Being able to fill that area with lots of different businesses is going to be a key to economic future. One thing that's going to be a key is how we deal with the Vaccine Gene Therapy Institute facility, 107,000 square foot state-of-the-art research institute. Now, my proposition is that we go forward, that we market this asset, and we show the world that whether it's life sciences, biotechnology, pharma, any type of medical device manufacturer, that we could fill that building. I think that's a key step of going forward and building confidence in our economic development strategy. And then lastly, healthcare is an economic engine. I shared with you some of the factors of job creation, but within the Tradition Center for Innovation and also the general Tradition area, look at what's happening on healthcare and medically related industries. Tradition Medical Center is going to be putting on another 500 professional jobs, capital investment of $110 million. Optimal Outcomes is building a new medical office building, $17 million in capital investment with 250 jobs. Kaiser University is building a new campus, and hopefully, Commissioner Hutchinson, with your help, we're going to get the VA nursing facility up and running. So these are great concrete examples of economic opportunity in the building of our community. So there's a lot of opportunities there with regard to the sale of products or the development of services as we go in the long term. Key issue, and I'm so glad that Superintendent Gent is here, because here's the most important aspect of it. We can have those economic fundamentals, but human talent is now the currency of economic growth. Human talent is now the currency of economic growth. If you don't have the skilled workers and the foundation to grow the economy, all of this is for naught. So there's a fundamental link between education, economic development, and the growth of the economy. So, I just showed to you almost 1,000 jobs that are going to be created. They're not here yet, but they're going to be created. Do we have that talent to fill these high-wage, high-skilled industry sectors? So that's our next step, working with our partners and the school system, Indian River State College, and our business partners, is to identify these skill gaps. This is important to you, to make sure that you have the necessary human talent, whatever business you're in, small, medium, or large. So again, having the human talent, physical aspect of the infrastructure, and also making sure that we have a skilled workforce, key issues. So I go back to these strategic themes. Look at them again as it relates to physical infrastructure, business climate, helping local business, tourism, and making sure that we have a fundamentally sound education and training development system. So this stuff doesn't happen by accident. It's all part of a plan and working together. Thank you so much. Chris, sorry I went over. Anything that I can share with you, questions, answers, I'll be around. Also our website, youredc.com. Happy Friday and have a great weekend.
I always come to the expo because it's a lot of networking with the businesses, getting to know each business, getting my brand out there so people will know who we are.
My favorite part of the Treasure Coast Business Summit is a chance to see a lot of people that I know and meet a lot of people that are going to be useful down in the future.